Hey, hey, party people in the place to be. It's Songs and Lyrics. I'm your host, Blag, Dahlia, and of course to my left, the very great and wonderful Andy Carpenter, producer, multi-instrumentalist, and man about town. How you feeling, Andy?
I'm feeling good, man. We're about to have a disagreement.
This is the Viagra Boys' Ain't No Thief. All right, we just heard Ain't No Thief by the Viagra Boys, a band that is current, happening now. And Andy, give me your take on this one.
I think this song is brilliant. I think it's hilarious. I feel like part of the reason you don't like it is I
haven't said I don't like it. Let's not go forward in time.
Oh, okay.
I actually do like this, as a matter of fact. But I like it in a sort of anti-way, because the song itself is presented in an anti-way. But I'm interested in what you think about it.
I think the song's hilarious. So when the music first starts, it doesn't really grab your attention. It sounds like, maybe you're ready for Shirley Manson to start singing, and it's going to be a garbage song from 1995.
I'm only happy when it rains. I'm only happy when it's complicated. And though I know you can't appreciate it, I'm only happy when it rains. You know I love it when the news is bad. Why it feels so good to feel so sad. I'm only happy when it rains. Pour your misery down. Pour your misery down on me. Pour your misery down. Pour your misery down.
When the singer starts singing, it gives you something you really didn't expect. And then the shit that he starts saying continues to give you something that you really didn't expect. At least I didn't expect it.
So you're kind of confirming what I say. It's an anti-song, and your entire reason for liking it is an anti-reason, which is legitimate. I'm down for that. Some things need reactions. Actions happen; they need reactions. This to me is very much a reaction song.
Yeah, it's part novelty. I think there are a lot of ways to do music in the same way it's been done over and over again. And it's refreshing from time to time to hear something where somebody pushed something in a direction that you didn't hear it going, that amuses you in some way. And that's what this one did for me. My father-in-law actually played this song for me when we were at my in-laws' house, and I was just cracking up.
Your father-in-law. Now that's interesting to me. How did it come across his transom? He's probably even older than me, right? In his 60s or 70s or something, right?
He's in his 60s. He's 63, I think. He was in a band called the Pontiac Brothers back in the 80s, I think.
This is what you call
he's a bass player. He's been in bands. He's been in the music scene and stuff for.
But he came across this
whole
song,
life.
thought you'd be interested in it, and so it crossed his
I don't
transom.
even
He
know-
played it for you, and
I don't know if he was just playing it for everybody at the house over at my in-laws.
now was he playing it in a "oh, you have to hear how ridiculous this is" way, or was he playing it in a "oh my god, I just heard the song I want at my granddaughter's wedding"?
He somewhere in between. He was cracking up about it. He loved it, and he was just he was like, listen to this song, listen to these lyrics. They're hilarious, and I'm like, that is hilarious to me.
See, you thought I didn't like it. I like this song for that reason. You know what I mean? But I think you and I come at this from different angles. You are staunchly, and I'm not saying this in any pejorative way, you are a pop guy. I mean, you like pop records for the most part.
I'm a music guy.
You're a music guy.
guy.
And so this song presents you with the specter of no vocal melody, no discernible, sort of lyrical hook per se. So it breaks those rules that you generally follow. And so it's appealing to you, whereas I grew up with a lot of punk rock and a lot of folks breaking the rules. So to me, like, breaking the rules is like, if you broke the rules and got something good, great. If you broke the rules and didn't, which is the other 98% of the time, then you got something else, right? I think for you, like, there's probably any number of songs that would fit this category where they're not predictable and there's some weird thing that Adele wouldn't do. And so it would have appealed to you on that level.
I think music can do a lot of different things. And one of the things it can do that has value is it can make you laugh. And before we were recording, I was talking about Wheeler Walker Jr. I think I like this song for the same reason I like Wheeler Walker Jr.
You got your mama's eyes and your daddy's cock. In a few short years, you'll be ready to rock, my son. And boy, you'll have some fun. You just came out of a pussy hole, and you'll be back in one before you know, young man. You'll have more than you can stand, and I never ever felt like this before. And son, I couldn't love you more. Oh, the pussy you will slay someday. Don't be giving it away. And you'll be munching so much muff. Just wait. All the pussy you will slay someday. Well, you may not end up president, and you might struggle to pay the rent sometime.
Is Wheeler Walker Jr. giving you something musically that you haven't already been given in country music for decades? No. He's giving you the same thing, but he's giving it to you with a twist. And he's making you laugh. And he's saying the exact thing you don't expect him to say when he's all of a sudden starts talking about sucking dick. It's like,
Right, I mean, I
you didn't see it coming and just makes you
I
laugh.
too dig
And
Wheeler
so-
Walker Jr., but he clearly is a parody guy to me. You take straight modern country music and then you put incongruous lyrics on it. So would you say that these guys are taking sort of straight, whatever, indie post-punk music or slightly dancey music and then giving you something different? Is that?
It made me laugh. That's all I can say. And like I said, when you said normally I listen to pop music or whatever, I listen to all kinds of music. Really, I don't discriminate against modern pop as a lot of people that I know do. So I like that too. And actually, I've even been listening to a lot of Christian music lately. Believe it or not.
Wow.
I'm not a Christian believer in any way, shape, or form. I'm actually kind of the opposite. But by accident, when I moved out here to the Coachella Valley, I accidentally tuned into the FM radio station K-Love, the Christian pop.
Right, yeah, no, I
Christian
hear it all the
pop
time when I'm
station.
driving here to see
I
you.
accidentally tuned into it, and I realized that, like, I'm going to say 1 out of 5 songs or whatever that they play on here, I'm like, I recognize as being a good song. And so maybe we'll do one of those songs at some point.
So are they like modern pop jams, but with
they're like
lyrics?
modern pop, but I would say not the way most modern pop is now, because they're much more organic in that sense, like somewhere closer to what modern country is, but not always very country. Just kind of like organic pop, heartfelt, kind of organic pop.
People like you, people like me, this is where we all find grace. Come on now, bet you wanna sing hallelujah, bet you say an amen. Can't help but celebrate being born again. Somebody who loves you is waiting at the door. It's home sweet home here in the house of the Lord. Take a load out, you're about to find your rest. It's a crazy world out there, got some hope right here out of the
Some of these songs are really good, and despite not believing any of it, and some of the lyrics are vague enough that they don't really go like full Jesus. They're just talking about positivity and things like that.
Could be Muhammad.
Right.
Could be Moses. You never know.
Yeah, and some of them do. But anyways, my point was that I listen to music for a lot of different reasons, and a lot of times it's given me something else, sincerity or whatever. But less often, but sometimes what it's given me is it's making me laugh. This song is making me laugh.
Yeah.
Wheeler Walker Jr. makes me laugh. And it also kind of reminds me of, and this might, how you respond to this might kind of inform like ways that we might be looking at this differently. But like, what did you think of the band Cake from the 90s?
Cake. Oh man. Well, I think we traveled in something of a. I knew some of the people they knew, so I think I was predisposed to be like, oh, I got some friends around that world or something. But honestly, I wasn't really aware of them too much. I think I knew one of the dudes. I don't know. I'm not real clear. What I knew was, of course, they covered one of my favorite songs, "I Will Survive," which infuriated me because I didn't care for their version of it. But that didn't really tell me anything about what they were like as a band. And I'm pretty uneducated on them. We'll probably play some Cake right now.
But see.
She's playing with her jewelry, she's putting up her hair, she's touring the facility and picking up slack. I want a girl with a short skirt and a long jacket.
I like their "I Will Survive" cover, and it kind of, it's a little bit somewhat relevant to what we're talking about here. Is it musically brilliant in the traditional sense? Like, no, but is it doing something that's interesting in some way? I would argue yes. And I love Cake. I love their all of their songs really for the most part, and it doesn't really, maybe it doesn't make you like double over with laughter in like a Wheeler Walker Jr. or something like that.
But it's tongue in cheek.
But it is tongue in cheek. It's not so sincere. But there's kind of a silliness to it. And half the time it's almost like he's speaking more than he's singing. But especially like if you listen to that "I Will Survive," it's like he's barely even singing it. He's kind of just...
See, every once in a while when I don't know about a band, I actually won't venture an opinion on them.
Yeah,
usually when I don't know about them, I'll still venture an opinion on them. With Cake, like I say, it was like, I think they were somewhat San Francisco. We have some mutual buddies, and so I never went too far down there. But getting back to this track, what you seem to be saying here is, it was surprising, it was funny, and yes, it was sort of a spoken thing, which then keyed me into the lyrics, which you particularly liked.
Yeah, I mean, so I love Cake because Cake is fun, and I was offering that as an example of something that's not. It's not doing what some other things might be doing for me musically, but it's doing something else. And I think this song made me laugh. And I haven't really even listened to this band. Like, I've just kind of listened to a couple of their other songs.
Yeah, so you and I just listened to a couple of songs, and we watched
the
video for this. And here's what struck me when I watched the video for this. The video it's very tangentially involved with what the lyrics are. The lyrics are, I ain't no thief, and a couple, he's basically got like a church group of evangelicals that he's supposedly hoodwinking, and they're giving him money, and he's saying, but here's what struck me. The video, for the most part, doesn't really tell you what the song's about. The lyrics to the song don't really jibe with the music of the song. So to me, what this is an anti-song. It's someone who's making a tongue-in-cheek statement, which is, I am not going to give you the traditional pop song that you want. Also, I'm not going to give you the lyrics that you want, where it is, about something specific. So this is the kind of thing, and I put on the silly Swedish voice because these guys are from Sweden, but it's like, to me, songs like this work when there's a publicist to make you hear it and make it work. Songs like this work when some corporate entity is behind it and it says, hey, this can be the antidote. Everything doesn't have to be the same. And here, we're going to give you this. I mean, what bothers me about this, the only thing that bothers me about it, because I liked it too. I looked at it, I thought, oh, that's funny. He's come up with these. Well, okay, let's start with the lyrics before I go down my rabbit hole, right? I showed up to the party in my favorite coat. On the back was an image of a shrimp on a boat. When you saw what I was wearing, you got real upset and said, that's the jacket that I got from my grandma. Okay, so right there,
I love that.
Right? I am not going to rhyme. I don't have to rhyme. And my song is not going to go in the direction you want it to. I am going to intentionally take you to a different place. I admire that. I like that.
He did rhyme at first, but then the reason that line makes me laugh when he says, that's the jacket that I got from my grandma. Because it's like, this gets into the philosophical concept of what humor is and what is funny. And I believe humor has everything to do with surprise and giving you something you did not expect. That's the jacket that I got from my grandma is like the last thing in the world I expected him to say at that moment. And that made me laugh.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Because it didn't rhyme, and it was like,
yes.
Who says that?
Again, I think you think I don't like this. I'm just saying the reason that we like this has something to do with the fact that it was presented to us. It reminds me of the classic Seinfeld, right? They're in the guy's office trying to sell their show and telling him it's a show about nothing, and he says, well, then why am I going to watch it? And they say, because it's on TV. I mean, if this band came from America, I don't think we would be responding to it this way. But because it's from Sweden, home of a form of socialism that I believe in, I mean, I've spent a fair amount of time in Scandinavia. I think the Scandinavians are smart, they're good looking, they know what the fuck they're doing, and they've set up a really smart society, and socialism's a big part of it. They underwrite their bands. They underwrite rock bands to sit around in places coming up with shit. They underwrite your rehearsal space. They give you a stipend. I mean, there's a whole thing to it. And so because this thing had something behind it, it rolled into some world that was fostering it. This was, big enough and competent enough looking that it was like, oh, okay, here is a thing delivered with enough professionalism that we can feel like this is professional. However, it's confounding all your beliefs. It's a silly song. It's a song with it's sort of dancey in its drums, but then there's a bunch of noisy guitar over it. So you can't dance to it, and it's not a dance track. And also, okay, we're going to go and make a video, but the video really isn't going to have anything to do with what the song is. So, I mean, this is the kind of thing you get when you're very confident. And let me say this about this singer. This guy is rock and roll to me. He can't sing. He cannot sing. We looked at several songs of theirs. He's one of these guys who's in a rock band, and I see a lot of bands like this now, and he simply can't carry a tune, and he doesn't even try to. He raps, supposedly, but he also can't rap. So this is a guy who is not fucking talented, but he is rock and roll because he is standing in front of you and telling you, worship me. I'm putting myself up this flagpole, and you will fucking salute it. I admire that. I've done a lot of that in my life. I'm not the best singer on the fucking block, dude. Not even close. Most of the incarnations of this band, there's been somebody in my band who could sing better than me, just in the band, let alone in other people's bands. And yet, I've relentlessly pushed what a fucking genius I am. This guy is that. He's not cute. He doesn't know how to shave himself, and he can't sing. And here he is, a fucking rock star with hundreds of thousands of followers of people digging him. Hey, that's rock and roll. He ran it up the fucking flagpole. You know what this reminds me of more than anything? Andrew W.K., another motherfucker that couldn't write a song, had a band that couldn't play, and he couldn't sing. And yet somehow, one record that everybody knows that exploded. And still to this day, he'll come out and play an entire show of that. And you just go, how did this happen? How did this phenomenon happen? And the answer is rock and roll, man. He ran it up the fucking flagpole and your dumbass saluted it. And when I listen to this band, I think the same thing. I laughed. I liked it. I saluted it, right? But I have to dissect it and see that, because we do live in a world where there are some folks who can sing. There's some other folks who can rap. There's some other folks who are cute. This is none of that.
I think Andrew W.K. is a good comparison. I think that was a similar phenomenon. I think he made people laugh, kind of, and people found his shtick funny. I think he came onto a rock scene that was, in general, much more serious and just came in with let's party. We're gonna party hard, and just made a goofy song, And I think that was refreshing to people, and I think this is similar in that way. Let me just say that I had not seen the video for this until you and I pulled it up together, and it's bizarre. I think this seems to be a trend, a thing that I think video people like to do, is they like to not go on the nose with the video. If they see the lyrics have a specific story, they try to twist it in some way, and it just seems to be a pattern that I've noticed where they go,
absolutely.
Well, how can we not just literally show exactly what you're saying? Let's come up with another angle. And, I'm not going to sit here and really try to defend the video too hard. I didn't get that much value. Oh, it was a little bit amusing.
But I'm saying the video is of a piece of what the song is.
Yeah,
it's all about confounding your expectations. It's a dance song you can't dance to that nobody on a dance floor would want to dance to.
Yeah.
It's a rock and roll song because it's got some loud guitar in it, and yet, there ain't a lot of fucking Stairway to Heaven here, and there ain't a lot of fucking Ramones here. There's this is a big bowl of nothing, played by a bunch of people who are okay. But the final product is appealing because I think surprise, you really hit it on the head. It surprises you. I wasn't expecting this, and so because I wasn't expecting it, I liked it, but that's the only reason I liked it.
I got the impression, at least initially when we first started talking about this, that you didn't like it. And I was going to say that I was going to speculate that maybe part of the reason you didn't like it is that maybe they were kind of stepping on your turf a little bit. Maybe there was little dwarves there, because this is kind of what you guys have done, which is I think you have surprised people in the same way. With vulgarity
and genre changing and that kind of shit.
Vulgarity and profanity and the kinds of things that you're not supposed to say in a song, Yes. None of the sincere punk bands will say these kinds of things, but you guys, but the dwarves,
I can accept that.
The dwarves said them. And I think that's a lot of what people like about the dwarves, and
those who do.
What people... Well,
I'd go even further and say a lot of my responses to a lot of material just has to do with my jealousy. I watch people doing things and I go, fuck, You know, what do you mean?
Yeah, but
you
you're
know?
not supposed to write a song called "Fuck, Eat, and Fuck You Up." Like
Right.
you're not supposed to do that.
They circumcise. They tell you lies. And they get you. Yeah, they take you. Yeah, they hate you if you ever wonder why. We don't need no re-education. Schools out, drop out, time for vacation. I'm getting an A in anatomy. It doesn't matter me. Past is history. I wanna fuck, I wanna fuck, I wanna fuck, eat and fuck you up. Yeah, I've been in love, but that ain't enough. I wanna fuck, eat and fuck you.
Yeah.
And then you guys did that. You went there.
Yes.
And then that's one of many examples. And I
Right.
think that is what fans of the Dwarves have found
But
refreshing.
with this, what pricks my jealousy when I look at it is I say, this could have been anybody. See, when I hear Adele sing, I say, Adele's got a great voice. Now, I might not like the song she did. I could criticize X, Y, and Z. But I know why people love Adele, and the people who love Adele probably don't love me, because I can do a certain thing, but I can't sing like Adele can, okay? When I see this guy, I think this could have been anybody. This could have been anybody with any baseline amount of non-talent standing there. All he had to be was a fucking rock star that was willing to stand up there and go, I am great, and you will worship my song. It is about my grandma and the shrimp, you know? And it's just like, okay, dude, I get it. I mean, it's just like, look.
I
you
think
know.
in our research we found out that he's actually American and he's not Swedish.
Oh, that's
so-
right. That's right. He's American and not Swedish.
So he probably doesn't talk like that.
Our
exactly,
research.
but-
Yeah, no, but dude, I have to say, I respect this guy. He ran it up the fucking flagpole. I love that, and you know, I'm with that. You know,
But
what I'm saying?
I think he had to come up with a concept, you know, in that song, a way to act dumb in a way that was funny. I liken it more to what comedians do than what musicians typically do. You know, a comedian comes up with a persona. You know, and it depends on the comedian. I mean, some more so than others, but some of them will have just kind of a way that they talk and act and look that they had to come up with. And I think you might look in retrospect and say it could have been anybody could have did it, but
they didn't. He did.
right, but he
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
and I, you know, and once the model has been established, maybe it's easier to reverse engineer it and say, well, I could do that, you know, I could act dumb and say dumb things like that.
but he did
But
it
it's
first,
like, but that's what the benefit of having already seen the model established by this guy, and now you know you can't.
I think your observation
Can't do
about
it
the
again.
video is starting to take me, because I think that, you know, that whole thing of not doing it on the nose. And I'm remembering like one of the videos I made from one of my solo things in which exactly that happened. I was like, what the fuck is going on here, man? It's not even tied in. The guy's like, it doesn't have to be so on the nose. I think I kind of suffer from doing things too on the nose, you know, again, because we all get fossilized in our patterns. But from what you said, it's like, yeah, the video's not on the nose with the song. I think the song itself is not on the nose with the song.
Right.
The lyrics are not with the music.
Right,
the
so
music
they-
itself is not on a
Yeah.
thing with itself. And so it's all of these not necessarily opposing, but not really complementary factors that are all kind of piled on each other. And the final effect is funny. It made me laugh. I mean, if this is a comedy thing, it worked.
I think that they went a little more out with the video than they needed to, in my opinion. But although I guess they could have been more clever with it. I think if the video was going to be that out, if it had some really clever, funny concept to it, it'd be worth it. But
And that's what I get back to. He did surprise us, but he didn't kill me with it. You know, so
I don't think the video was brilliant.
no, but not even the video. I mean, let's get back, okay? So that's a jacket I got from my grandma. Oh, well, I promise I ain't seen you before, and maybe your grandma had bought a couple more, and maybe I helped her at the grocery store, and she gave it to me as a gift. So quit bitching, motherfucker. Now that, I thought, okay, so this is the punk element. You're in a song that does not require at all saying the word motherfucker, and yet you do, which is, avowedly anti-commercial in a sense. But to me, it's like, okay, the whole humor of this song is I ain't no thief, when in point of fact, he is a thief. He clearly stole the jacket, and every succeeding, so the next batch, I went on the porch to light a cigarette. I had 6 or 7 lighters in my left pocket. I took out the one that said Shrimp City Beach 1993. You told me that's where you had your birthday party, and the lighters were given as gifts, but I was there too. So again, right, it's a song, but I'm not rhyming.
I played this song for somebody else, and they said it was a little suicidal tendencies,
Institutionalized,
all
right.
I wanted was a Pepsi,
Right.
and it's kind of like that. It kind of makes me laugh in the same way.
And I go, wait, what are you talking about? We decided my best interest? How do you know what my best interest is? How can you say what my best interest is? What are you trying to say? I'm crazy? When I went to your school, I went to your churches.
But again, he posits the joke right there at that's the jacket I got from my grandma, right? I mean, he's said, oh, okay, I'm saying that I'm not a thief, but in point of fact, obviously I am a thief. I stole this because this is a jacket that's yours, which you got from your grandma.
But
here's a lighter that you got at your birthday.
It's such a dumb way to defend against that accusation.
Of course. And again, that's where the humor is, but come on. It's repetitive, in other words. If you're going to come at me with a song and it's funny, how repetitive can you be? And again, this is where things are biting up on each other, because then all of a sudden it's like, but it's not a comedy act, it's a song. And so it's got this repetition. So every verse, he makes the same joke. Oh, clearly this is stolen. And now I'm giving you a bunch of specific things, which suggest that it must be stolen, So, I mean, it's a little bit fucking, you want to talk about on the nose, that part of it's a little bit fucking on the nose, So, I mean, it's not as fucking brilliant as it thinks it is, and it's not as brilliant as its fans thinks it is. It's pretty fucking hilarious 30 seconds in, and at the end of 5 minutes of it, and watching 5 minutes of aimless video, it's kind of like, this is something,
Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. Something in the way she woos me. I don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in how. Somewhere in a smile.
I'm glad it's not Pop Punk Jam number 25 or, Pop Dance Jam number 8023. Yes. But, I'm giving it a 7 just because somebody could have tried a little harder to do something somewhere. I don't know. I mean, I'm having trouble loving this, but I don't dislike it, because it is. We do need bands like this, and we need attitudes like this, and we need people who say, "I'm not coloring in the lines, asshole, and I don't really care about your podcast or what you have to say about me."
I think it is a little bit predicated on not trying too hard. So, I mean, that would probably be the rebuttal to what you're saying about trying a little harder. I think the whole thing is just predicated on like, I don't give a fuck,
Right. Yes.
I didn't try
and
to
that's
write
the
a
part
real
I like.
song.
Yes.
I'm just saying stupid shit on a mic. I'm high,
Yes.
and I'm just saying dumb shit. And in a way, it reminds me of one of my favorite songs of all time, which is "Real Talk" by R. Kelly. Maybe we get that. Maybe get that one into another thing. But it's just.
Do I know your friend who? At a club. Who was there? Girl, I wasn't. Wait a minute, calm down. I was at a club with who? Get the fuck. Man, you know what? Girl, I'm not about to sit up here and argue with you about who's to blame or call no names. Real talk, see, girl. Only thing I'm trying to establish with you is not who's right or who's wrong, but what's right and what's wrong. Real talk. Just because your friend says she saw me at a club with some other bitches. sitting in VIP, smoking and drinking.
I mean, time and time, I come back to that song and it just makes me laugh every time, you know. And you would think it'd be the kind of thing, well, it's just novelty and it'll get old, but God, it's been so many years now. Every time I listen back to it, it cracks me up, and it's such a shame that guy is such a piece of shit that he is because he's just brilliant.
Well, speaking of real talk and speaking of just some guys talking shit on a mic, this is Songs and Lyrics.